Eu uso determinado tipo de fados, boa qualidade, e não quero estragar. Então essa escova de qualidade realmente só aqui nestes sítios, porque não é feita...
Gosh, to me it sounds like that's what it sounds like to me.
No mesmo se passa nisto. Tu compras uma escova daquela...
It does sound freaking heck. It sounds like Russian. Listen, I don't care. All of you gaslighters telling me, no, it's absolutely no, it's completely different. Yeah, okay.
No mesmo se passa nisto. Tu compras uma escova daquelas baratinhas...
Duh. That's what it sounds like to me. But not all the time. This is the magic of it. Hey noble ones, welcome to Metatron's Academy. So I've recently tried to learn Brazilian Portuguese and I made a couple of videos trying to do that. So today we're going to try and do the same thing but with European Portuguese. So we'll see, can I imitate the pronunciation? How much can I understand of the actual spoken language and the words vocabulary as a native Italian speaker? So if you're really looking forward to see me fail miserably, right channel. This is the right channel. Let's jump right into it. Alright, for today's failure, we've got quite a few videos that we can choose from, but I kind of like this one with this lady here, and it says European Portuguese, just judging by the book, by the way, you know, by the thumbnail. European Portuguese for beginners, easy phrases for tourists. Hey, lovely, you know, might take my wife to Portugal one of these days, so let's go.
So you're coming to Portugal.
Not really.
Maybe it's a holiday, or maybe you're checking out to see if it's a place you'd like to live. But tell me something, are you nervous about speaking Portuguese for the first time? If you are, do not worry, that is what today's video is going to cover, the survival Portuguese that you're going to need to get by as a visitor with a specific focus on the correct pronunciation so you can actually be understood by the locals that you are going to meet. If we've not yet met, my name is Liz and I help people who are relocating to Portugal to build their confidence and conversation skills without a boring textbook in sight. I cover the practical Portuguese that you'll need on a day-to-day basis here, so hit subscribe
Let's have
now
some lemonade.
if that sounds like something you will need. So let's start with the obvious, greetings. I have a whole video on this over here, but they're a little bit more advanced, so let's start with the real basics here.
Yes.
For hello, you'll say, hola. Nice
Hola.
and simple, right? Especially if you speak Spanish, but I really want you to watch out for the L. In Portuguese, we call this the dark L, and it happens low down in our throat. Oh, not on the tip of our teeth, like we would do in English. So instead of hola out here, we want hola down here. For goodbye, the colloquial way to do it is to borrow ciao from the Italians.
Okay. This is going wonderful up to now. It's going wonderful. La, okay? Got that one? Ciao. I think I know that one.
You can make it even more colloquial by adding inho to the end of the word. This is so Portuguese and I have a whole video on it on how to use it here. So you can say tchauzinho. Now, it's important to note that the Portuguese actually prefer to be greeted more fully than a simple hello. Culturally, people will say good morning, good afternoon, or good night to be polite. So repeat after me.
Okay.
Bom dia.
Bom dia.
Boa tarde.
Boa tarde.
Boa noite.
Boa noite.
Now, I want to mention the pronunciation of bom. We are not going to say bom with an M. No.
Like any Italian would, me included.
Words in Portuguese that end in an M are telling us that the vowel before the M needs to be nasalized.
You know, this is fantastic because it's actually a conservative aspect of Portuguese as a language because it's exactly how classical Latin was pronounced in ancient Rome. So whenever there is an M, you wouldn't say Imperium Romanum like we Italians do, but you would say Imperium Romanum. So the it's the nasalization of the vowel before the M. It's exactly how they did it in ancient Rome. So they kept that. Appreciate it. Glory to Rome.
So it's not an O, it's an O. We have to use our nose too.
Right.
I cover this in detail
on a dedicated video.
Lesson for beginners. It's in the description, so do check it out. It's words like
use your nose. Sing.
Yes. Or now.
Now.
So can you see how I'm actually nasalizing them? It's not sim and now, it's Sim.
I wouldn't dare.
Não. So what if we want to
Não.
make our yes and no more polite? We need to add please and thank you.
Well,
please
yeah.
is se faz favor.
Wow, this is so different from Brazilian Portuguese. I gotta listen to it again.
And thank you. Please is se faz favor.
Se faz favor.
You'll also hear por favor. And
Yes,
people often ask
por
me what
favor.
the difference is, but the truth is there isn't really much of a difference.
I'll use
but
por
I think
favor.
you will hear se faz favor
Oh, never mind.
more.
Okay.
And if you do use por favor, just don't say it with a Spanish accent. There's more
How do you do that? Stop sounding cautious and dedicated. It's like a minefield of dedicated videos here.
on that in this video if you feel like you're guilty of that. For
I'm guilty.
Thank you. We need obrigado if you're
Obrigado.
a man, or obrigada. If you're a
Obrigada.
woman. Don't forget it does change based on your
Obrigado.
own gender, not the gender of the person
Of
you're
course.
talking to.
Of course.
If you are coming to Portugal for the first time, let me know in the comments.
It's the
Where
same
will
as
you be
Italian.
Visiting? Are you thinking of moving here?
All right, so she's adorable. I want to check another channel as well, so we get several inputs. But up to this point, ciao. You know, I'm getting a little frustrated here because I'm only getting like an American guy in Portugal, an Australian in Portugal, an English person in Portugal. Like I'm getting literally a Serbian in Portugal. I would like to listen to a native speaker, please. Let's see if we can find one. Okay, here's what I found. I found this channel called Practice Portuguese, and the lad on the left is Canadian, but the lad on the right, the bloke on the right, is from Portugal. So let's see if we can learn a few things from them.
Learn in a language is how to say hello.
Hola. Hola.
Hola. Hola.
It's similar to Spanish.
Hola. Yeah, it's very similar. Yeah. Hola.
It is true though, what the lady said before, his L is definitely dark. Hola. Hola.
Hola.
The next thing that
Goodness gracious, you know what? That sound, the dark L in combination with this very, I want to say, but down in the throat, it does make it sound a little bit like Russian.
you might want to say is good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending on the time of day. So how would you say good morning?
Bom dia.
Bom dia. I think that's a difference there with Brazilian Portuguese. He's pronouncing the D. Now, of course, that makes it easier for me, as a D, I mean. In a lot of areas in Brazil, they say bom dia, but then again, I know there's going to be like one city or one village or one area or one river where they actually do pronounce it like this, and then people will correct me, which is great. It's great. You're lovely. But yeah, I was saying in general, so I'm noticing he does fully pronounce the D. That makes it a little easier for me, I suppose.
Bom dia.
Bom dia.
It's a tricky one because of the bom.
Bon.
Bom.
Bom. It's like a nasal sound.
If you already talk nasally, then you'll be great at Portuguese.
Great.
Bom dia.
What's the word for afternoon?
Tarde.
Tarde.
So I could say bon tarde.
No, you have to say boa tarde.
Boa tarde. Yeah, look how he's cutting things. So that's another difference that I'm noticing between European Portuguese and Brazilian Portuguese. Wouldn't like people in Brazil say tarde or tardi? And like he's cutting it, and I think that that's a difference already right there. So they have different vowels. They pronounce the D differently, and now I'm noticing that they have the tendency of cutting things down.
Boa, it's like the feminine version of
Right.
bom. Everything
Yeah.
has a gender. It's either feminine
Yes.
or masculine. So,
Yes. So yeah, this one is interesting. Let's go.
okay, so that's bom dia, boa tarde, and now good evening.
Yeah.
We say noite for evening.
Noite.
Night.
Noite.
And noite is feminine. So what would you use?
I wouldn't say bon, I would say boa noite, right?
Boa noite.
Boa noite.
Boa noite.
Boa noite.
Olá, bom dia, boa tarde e boa noite.
Boa tarde. Boa noite.
Boa noite.
Yeah, how are you? I want to try that.
Is tudo bem?
Tudo bem?
Tudo bem?
Tudo
You
bem?
hear that a lot.
Tudo bem?
Tudo bem.
Tudo
And you
bem?
can answer the exact same way. Sim, tudo bem.
Sim. Tudo bem?
At the end. So formal, como está?
Como está? Interesting that the S is a full-on sh. Como está? Como está?
Informal, como estás?
Como estás? And I do believe that this is a characteristic. It's not even a retracted S at the end as I was expecting. This is a full-on sh sound, like this SH in English, I want to say. I do believe there are some areas that do this in Brazil, but I've also heard a lot of areas that don't and just pronounce it like a frontal S. So this is interesting. Como estás? And he doesn't pronounce the E at all.
So see this sh at the end, this S that we transform into a sh. This is typical European Portuguese.
Right.
Brazilians would just say S. So they would say como estás?
I think it depends on the area.
So in Portuguese, if a word ends with S, then it gets that sh sound.
Cool, cool.
Or if it's followed by a consonant. Castelo, castle.
Yeah.
Really? Castelo.
Castelo.
Castelo. Wow. There are some dialects in Italian that do that. Even in Sicily, we have one town, I think it's Modica, where they do that. So it's not completely foreign to me as a concept. So like you would, in my area, I would say aposto, but there are areas where they say aposto. So, I mean, I'm not a huge fan of it when they do it in Italian, but then again, here, it sounds pretty cool.
See two S's in a word, then it just sounds like an S. That's easy.
I see.
Like the word for person, pessoa.
Pessoa.
Pessoa. Pessoa. Pessoa. Okay, cool. Next. Okay, now I really like these guys, by the way. Now we're gonna learn like a sort of little bit of an introduction, I suppose. So let's see. Yeah, what's your name?
Como te chamas?
That's the informal. Como te chamas?
Yeah,
Como te chamas? Como te chamas? Como te chamas?
how do you call yourself?
Como te chamas? If
Como
it's
te chamas?
formal,
Then I would say como se chama.
so se.
So interesting that it's se, because without knowing, as an Italian, I would just read it como se chama, como se cama. Well, if they tell me before that this is a sh, then I would say como se chama. That would be as an Italian. But now what I'm hearing is como se chama.
Instead of t, and the S at the end drops.
It's probably better to learn the formal version because if you don't know somebody's name already, chances are you're going to be treating them formally and not informally. The only situation in which you would...
Next. Of course, if you're going to watch the whole thing without me interrupting in an obnoxious way, absolutely click the link in the description. And let's see this mini conversation that they're going to have. It's going to be great. It's going to be great. Let's go.
Como se chama? Then how would you respond?
Eu chamo-me Rui.
Eu chamo-me Rui. So, similarly to Brazilian Portuguese, I'm noticing that the R, at least at the beginning, is more of an aspiration or an H to me. That's what it sounds like. Eu chamo-me Metatron.
I call myself Rui. Or, eu sou o Rui.
You're the Rui?
Yes, we like that.
O Rui.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. Eu sou o Rui. Did he say O or did you read it like a U? I didn't.
O Rui.
Ooh, I thought so. So it's written as an O, but you don't read O, you read U. So I would say, eu sou o Metatron, which is wonderful because I always say, hello, this is the Metatron speaking, so this is great.
You're the Rui?
Yes, we like that.
Cool.
Rui.
Yeah.
I love it.
O Rui.
Because u is the word for the, if it's masculine, or for feminine. So I am the Rui. Okay, so eu sou o Joel. Sounds very fancy.
Muito prazer.
Muito prazer.
Muito prazer.
Now we have to...
Now is pleasure.
Muito prazer.
Muito prazer.
A pleasure.
Muito prazer.
A pleasure. Prazer. Prazer. That
Prazer.
R again.
Yeah, it's not prazer.
No.
Both of those R's have that flick thing,
Yes.
that flick sound, the prazer. So literally the translation is a lot of pleasure to meet you.
Which it is. Come on.
Muito prazer.
Igualmente.
Igualmente. So, equally. Yeah, igualmente. Love it. Let's see if we can listen to some full-on speech now. Hello, lovely lady.
Very good, muito bem. Você gosta de morar no Portugal?
Adoro, pois é a minha terra. Bom dia, muito obrigada e tudo de bom. Bom dia. Cuidado.
Bom dia.
Tocar concertina, sentir as emoções das pessoas, é uma espécie de partilha que me dá algum sustento para poder continuar e com alegria é muito mais fixe.
I only understood alegria, happiness. My gosh, it's difficult to understand. So because of course what we checked out up to this point was just simple, very well enunciated single words. But this, I don't understand it at all. I only understood one word. It was a lot easier for me to understand Brazilian Portuguese up to this point. It must be because of all the cutting that I'm not used to. Probably if I put some time, like maybe a few weeks into this, I might start recognizing the patterns. But as of now, this is tough. Let's go. I love a challenge. Porto.
Da Estados Unidos.
Cumprimentos a Trump e a Biden.
Trump e Biden.
Sim.
Hey. He's a left-right guy. He's a... Oh gosh. Yeah, compliments. Yeah, sure. I mean... Ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce you to a Republican Democrat.
Muito bem.
Sim. Senhor norte-americano esteve aqui e disse que nós sofríamos os do Porto, de uma doença incurável. E eu perguntei-lhe qual era essa doença.
Doença?
Simpatia. Foi ele que disse. Não fui eu que inventei.
I did understand him a little bit here, so that wasn't too bad. So we understood the Democratic Republican. Let's see this go.
You think there's like a philosophy that most Portuguese people live by, or do you think it's more...
This is really cliche, but...
Wow, I understand it perfectly. Oh wait, she's speaking English, never mind. This guy with the sunglasses, let's go.
Qual é o teu nome?
SOS Stencil, artístico.
Ok. Hugo. Ok. Ross, prazer.
Nasci na Suíça.
And he's Swiss. I need a Portuguese. It's so difficult to find them.
Ninguém mais faz. Não?
Na Península Ibérica ninguém trabalha da nossa maneira.
So they're the only people in the whole Iberian Peninsula, that's Portugal, Spain, Andorra, that do this type of handmade brushes.
Oh, that's nice. I love that.
One of a kind.
Love that.
Nós só usamos materiais naturais. E esses materiais são bastante caros.
Materiais naturais, I think he said, natural materials. Then he went materials natural, which is the same order in, syntactic order that I would use in Italian anyway. So that one is not a problem. But once again, it's, oh my gosh, it takes a lot of effort.
E nós aqui conseguimos fazer quase para o cliente, para o próprio cliente. O cliente chega aqui e diz assim, olha, eu quero uma escova para fato, eu uso um determinado tipo de fatos, boa qualidade, e não quero estragar. Então essa escova de qualidade realmente só aqui nestes sítios, porque não é feita a mão.
Gosh, to me it sounds like... That's what it sounds like to me. Let's try.
É feito uma a uma. Se eu quiser
one
comprar
by one.
Meu físico, eu vou mantê-lo, eu tenho comigo. É uma peça que fica comigo. Não é? No mesmo se passa nisto. Tu compras uma escova daquela.
It does sound freaking heck. It sounds like Russian. Listen, I don't care. All of you gaslighters telling me, no, it's absolutely no, it's completely different. Yeah, okay, great. It does sound a little bit like Russian, right? Or am I losing my mind here? I'm going to listen to this again.
Peça que fica comigo. Não é? No mesmo se passa nisto. Tu compras uma escova daquelas baratinhas.
Duh. That's what it sounds like to me. But not all the time. This is the magic of it. Sometimes I'm like, oh goodness gracious, like if I had no idea, I would have guessed Russian, but other times it doesn't. When you hear all the nasalized sounds, then it doesn't. So it's like, oh, this is so fascinating.
E daqui a 3 meses, 4 meses, já não a tens. Há algum tempo atrás, há aqui um ano atrás ou quê, recuperámos uma escova que nos tinha sido aqui comprada em 1937. Descobrimos isso quando abrimos a escova para recuperar e tinha lá a nossa marca.
Zero, nothing. I did not understand a single word. So up to this point, I have to say that my wonderful experience in learning Portuguese has been very different, between learning Brazilian Portuguese and learning Portugal Portuguese, in the sense that, goodness gracious, so at least when they speak Brazilian Portuguese as an Italian, I understand a lot more. Like, I don't understand everything, of course, and in fact, I understand less than I would if they were speaking Spanish, I'll be honest. But, I can kind of follow along a little bit. But when it's up to this point, when it comes to Portugal Portuguese, European Portuguese, strangely enough, since I mean geographically a lot closer, but I have no idea what he's saying. I have no idea. So unless they go like bon dia sim, then yeah, maybe. But this is like next level. So among all Romance languages up to now, I understand Romanian a lot more easily than Portugal Portuguese. No idea. Anyways, this was fantastic. I hope you had a good time. But we're going to continue this because I don't give up. We're going to continue this. Thank you for watching. I'll see you tomorrow on Over-Once. And thank you for joining Metatron's Academy. If you're enjoying this video so far, please take a moment to check out my Patreon page. With as little as a $5 support, you can help us ensure that we can continue to produce high quality and high researched content. And at the same time, you get access to polls, extra videos, unlisted streams, and much more. Thank you so much.